this is the last time not talking about this situation. Once again, something came out the day immediately afterwards when I made my last video. If you missed it, go ahead and watch it if you really want to. But right now, what we're talking about is a post on Twitter or X made by the speedrunner Worcester, and he says that a close friend of his came forward to him with screenshots and proof of when she was 15 at the time, speaking to Chuggaaconroy when he was 19 years old, and in the screenshots and in this 48-page document on Google Docs, it shows an entire catalog of screenshots and chat logs of the two of them interacting with one another, and he is saying some things that are very, very inappropriate. I'm showing some of them on screen, probably right now. I don't want to recite some of the stuff that he's saying because it is truly disturbing, some of the stuff that he's saying. This is the last time that I'm going to be talking about the situation. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I wanted to put this off just in case like something like came forward even more that showed off even more evidence, but with this, I think this officially marks the official end of Chuggaaconroy's YouTube career. I don't think anyone's going to be watching his videos anymore. No one's going to be subscribing to him anymore. This is officially the full end of his YouTube career, and his entire reputation is just completely down the toilet right now. And it all started, ironically, on Reddit of all places, where someone said that he had nothing but good flags or green flags, and that he was a good guy, and then it just spiraled from there. Right when I thought that the situation was finally done and we were finally done talking about it, it just ended up getting worse. And so far, from what I've been seeing for the last like few hours, people are either accepting this as completely true, which I have no reason to believe why this would be fake, considering the circumstantial situation that this person had to go through in order to be able to find these chat logs, or in the very least the chat logs that she saved, because she explains in the Google Doc that this was something that she had done for herself, where they were talking on a completely different chatting site called AIM, or AOL Instant Messenger, and she would take the logs of the two of them chatting with one another and message herself on Gaia Online because they were very precious to her at the time, because she was such a huge fan of Chuggaaconroy. And this was back in like late 2009 to early 2010, and she even shows evidence that she had continued to keep talking with him as early as 2021. So who knows how long she's been speaking with him, on and off again. Who knows, like, if they were still communicating with each other even before the allegations came out from Lady Emily. Regardless, though, the messages and the logs that we see that we're given evidence for is just terrible. It's really, really bad. And like I said, I don't want to read them because of just how deplorable it all is and how it sounds. I don't know what to say, right? I didn't know, like, this was going to like come out, but when it did, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I was just surprised. The main thing that really came to my mind was, do I really want to talk about this situation even further, right? Do I want to talk about this? Because now it's become something much more serious than what I thought it was previously beforehand. Instead, now it's a situation where Chuggaaconroy said a lot of inappropriate things to someone who was a minor. Like, do I really want to say it? Like, I guess I will. Like calling her like a lolly, and like, even though like that's kind of like her name, he's still calling her like an IRL lolly. And at certain points, you'll see in the Google Docs, like, it's mentioned that multiple times that he acknowledges the fact that there is an age gap between the two of them, and that he's about to turn 20 years old, and she's 15 years old, and that they're like 5 years apart and all that stuff. And then he says something along the lines of, yeah, you're only like a few years younger than me, when it's like, that's not what the problem is. The problem isn't that she's a few years younger than you. It's the fact that she's 5 years younger than you, and she's 15 years old, and you're technically an adult about to go into college, right? Fresh out of high school, 19 years old, and and you're chatting this way with someone who's a minor and having these very erotic and sexual like role plays where like she's like quote unquote flashes you and she steals your 2 great balls, and how she didn't grab your great rod, and how instead of calling her a lolly, or instead of calling her a pedo crush, you instead call her a lolly. Like, I don't understand. Like, like, reading these was very painful. Not because I was a fan, but just because of how, like, disturbing all of these messages were. And I don't know. You're gonna see some more screenshots from Nintendo Capri Sun, who I think their name is Tim, and he runs the Runaway channel, or the Runaway Guys YouTube channel, with another person. I forget who the name is. He currently knows that Chuggaaconroy is safe, but they mentioned how he needed very serious help, and it's insinuated that he potentially made a suicide attempt. We have no idea if that's actually the case or not, but so far the only person that actually has full contact with him is either the guys from the Runaway Guys, or mainly just specifically his girlfriend. And yeah, I don't want to talk about this anymore. This was a situation that I thought was just like a huge misunderstanding between two consenting adults that should have been resulted in private, and now it's turned into something that is borderline illegal. And not even borderline, it is illegal. And yeah, that's I'm disgusted. I'm ashamed of him. All I want right now is for him to own up to his mistakes, get better, but I don't ever want to see him return to the platform. He doesn't deserve to continue to keep trying to make videos on YouTube. He needs to stay away from the YouTube channel and his platforms and all that stuff, because like, who knows if he even continued to keep talking to like underage fans. And like, from the messages from, or the chat logs from like over 10 years ago, he talks about how he continues to keep having messages of like young girls messaging him saying that they have like an immense crush on him. And maybe he was responding back to them. Maybe he was doing the same thing with multiple other minors as well. We have no idea, because so far we only have one person. Potentially in the future, in the next like few hours or so, maybe a few more other people are going to come forward with their own stories and their own messages. And I'm pretty ashamed of what's going on Twitter right now, because a lot of people are trying to like defend this guy, and they're trying to like say like, oh well, because the screenshots aren't actually from the AIM like instant messaging site, and they're like chat logs of guy online, you know, they could easily be faked. And it's like, this is a very specific situation that needed to happen in its very specific way. It seems very unlikely that someone would go out of their way and do this just to like make someone look bad. It's just, it's I don't know, it's dumb. I don't understand what people are trying to do. I understand that he was a very integral part of people's childhood. A lot of people were very inspired by him, and they looked up to him as a hero and an idol. But like, this is what happens. Like, this is the reality, and that's what they need to accept. And it's terrible. It is terrible, and I do feel bad for the fans who did love this guy and did see him as a hero and an idol. But what is there to say other than he's not what we thought that he was? And that's it. I don't know what to say any further. This is all I wanted to say. I have continued to keep thinking about it. I made that community post, and I left a pinned comment on my last video saying that I was gonna wait for more information, but just I can't. I had to get my thoughts out there really quick, and this is my last video. I'm not talking about it any further. This is the last video that I'm making on it. Whatever happens afterwards is completely out of my realm. I'm not gonna talk about it any further. Maybe if some people bring it up in the comments, I'll go ahead and chat with them about that. But as far as making a new video talking about new allegations that have come forward about Chuggaaconroy, this is it. This is the last video that I'm doing. I'm not doing anymore. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Leave a like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Drop that